Welcome to Trevor Overload.
Welcome back. How are ya? How's your week been? I just stared into one of my studio lights for like 5 seconds, spacing out, and went temporarily blind. But here we are. Time to let your hair down and let's get into it. This is my show, Trevor Foster's Toads, and I'm your host. Welcome back to another episode. Disclaimer, let me get this out in the open again. I curse a lot. If you don't like it, this won't be the show for you. Okay, I'm trying to attract other people my age, other dads. This is my outlet. You're going to hear some bad words. You're going to hear some combinations of words that might be icky and gross. Apologies. This is my brain on display. This is how we roll. Okie dokie. You know how this goes. Let's get into story time, man. And I can't bring up anything from my childhood without bringing up the trifecta that was me, Mike, and Gay Man. Okay, those were my two best friends in the world. I've talked about my cousin Mike already, but my best friend growing up in the high school range was Gay Man. Why did we call him that? It was his last name, and we have the same first name. I don't mean to put his information on blast like that, but hopefully there's enough of those that you can't find him. Anyway, so we met Gay Man on the school bus in freshman year, maybe sophomore year, and we just fell in love with him right away. How could you not love this guy? He was a giant compared to us, weighed more than us, was way taller than us, and he liked to rollerblade, and that's kind of how we saw him. We were skateboarders, me and Mike, and we were driving by on the school bus and saw he had a rail set up. And we asked him about it, and he was a rollerblader. And, of course, you're like, oh, you're gay. Because skateboarding is cool, and rollerblading was gay. That was just, that's how we grew up thinking, which is stupid as fuck. Of course, rollerblading's cool, too. I mean, I admire any skill. If you can grind rails on a scooter, or if you can do it on your shoes with fucking soap on the bottom, I don't give a fuck. That's hella cool. But anyway, so we met him. We went over and started skateboarding at his house. Playing video games with him, and of course we just all got along really well, and that's all you really needed to do when you were a kid, right? You hang out a couple times and you're best friends for fucking ever. So, anyway, we used to get up into a lot of bullshit, and the more we hung out, the stupider we got, of course. And so one day, I don't even know why, I know it was Gay Man's fault, he started getting really into making chlorine bombs. And if you don't know, I'm not going to be your anarchist cookbook and teach you how to make these fucking things, because that sounds like a horrible idea. But look it up. I mean, everybody pretty much knows what it is. But anyway, so Gay Man got obsessed with this, and it got a bunch of big bricks of chlorine. And we started making chlorine bombs. What's cooler than a bomb and loud noises? And if you've seen any of my stuff in the past, you'll know that I already like bombs, like Molotov cocktails and shit. So this was speaking to me on a primal level. So it was like, yeah, of course. My parents left the house a lot, so come on over, dude. Let's make some bombs. I got the field. Let's do it. So we'd take our water bottles. You know how it's made, okay? And cap it off. Wait a couple seconds. Boom! Bad ass. One day, Gay Man comes over, and I remember this clearly. Me, Mike, my older brother, Gay Man, and Gay Man's little brother. And Gay Man is putting together a chlorine bomb. And we've done this 1,000 times at this point, so just let him do his thing. But in this instance, it was taking him quite a while to get these big pieces of chlorine in the bottle. And then it was taking even more time for Gay Man to get the cap on the bottle. So time elapsing is like 7 to 10 seconds. If you know anything about chlorine bombs, that's a bad amount of time to keep fucking with this thing. So finally gets the cap on, and what's his little brother say? Shake it! Oh no! So Gay Man goes, and just like a shotgun, 2 shakes, boom! Explodes. And it was horrific. He goes, ah, my eyes, my eyes. We think he's blind forever, right? So my older brother starts freaking out. Get him into the shower. Gave a word, holding him and guiding him to the shower. Blood pouring down his arm. We don't know what's going on. We think it's coming from his eyeballs. Get him in the shower. I can't see. Full blown panic mode. Luckily, he washed the chlorine out of his eyes. Not that big of a deal. But, God, the bottle tore up. I don't know if it's left or right, but it tore up his arm. The exploded plastic just scraped everything away. He was bleeding everywhere. We got him bandaged up and taken care of. But I was thinking, there's so many good stories I have with these boys, with Mike and Game Man. I mean, we did so much stupid stuff. I mean, it was our formative years. What are you going to do? You're pushing the boundaries of everything, right? And so we did. That was a horrific mistake that we had made, but we also had so many other good times. And another instance that came into my mind was when we were fucking around with airsoft guns. We had gotten these automatic airsoft guns, so not the ones that you cocked and shot, because those hurt so bad. These ones were a little less as far as feet per second, so they didn't hurt so bad. And you could just unload on your friends. It was so fun. So we had 2 of them, and we'd always have little battles. My dad had a barn, so we'd go out and shoot and play out there. Just run around my front yard and backyard and do it. And one time, Mike gets a BB lodged in his ear canal. I was talking to Gay Man about what other stuff we used to do, and he remembered where Mike was chasing him around with a slipper, just smacking the shit out of him. I don't remember why. We used to hit each other a lot. And then Gay Man got upset about that. Take duct tape and clamped it into Mike's hair. And Mike had this shaggy hair at the time. We were in high school. Nobody gave a fuck about getting haircuts. But clamped it, and Mike couldn't get it out for the life of him. We had to wait until my mom got back, and she had to cut it out of his hair. So, which was probably the best for Mike, because he had a little Filipino nasty-ass mustache and that long shaggy hair, so he looked like, 23 when we were all supposed to be looking 14. So, probably the best. So, good on you, Gay Man. But anyway, I had to bring up those guys because we had so much fun together. And I've got 1,000 stories I can tell, so just wait. We'll get there. Okay, let's get into cool stuff as a kid. And so, obviously, that was cool as a kid, hanging out with those boys. But a big part of my childhood was growing up with my brothers. And we were so close and loved each other so much and would spend a lot of time together. And we had all this country area, 40-something acres to explore, And it was such a cool area. I mean, we had irrigation that we would get. I don't know how irrigation water works, but it would fill up these trenches we had because there's livestock and stuff out there. Cows would drink out of it, blah, blah, blah. And it would run through all these different areas and make pretty much like swimming pools sometimes. And so we would play in that stuff all the time. Never understood why I had so many ear infections growing up. Maybe swimming in cow shit and cow piss water isn't very good for your ear health. But we'd do that. Dude, we had this awesome swing that my dad built. Right back behind my house, we had a sloping hill that would go down. So he lassoed it up onto a tree, and we'd just kind of jump out and swing, which made me think of one time this girl came over, and she tried to swing off of it, fell off at the top, fell, and a branch like pretty much impaled her in her side. I know. It wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny to think back on. But as far as my brothers, yeah, so we had a bunch of property, and we started getting to where we'd get little mini bikes. So we'd drive them around there. We had an incident with a go-kart where I'll tell that story in the future too. My friend broke his arm. But yeah, dude, I hope you get along with your siblings because I still have great relationships with both of those boys. And, if I always followed everything Travis did. He was an awesome example. I tried to set the example for my little brother or at least just hang out with him. And we're best friends to this day still, all 3 of us. And, yeah, we had a lot of good times growing up. Another story that popped into my head actually was one from Travis. And I didn't see this happen, but he told me about it. And, like I said, we used to have a bunch of cows out in the pasture. And Travis and his friend were out there, throwing rocks at cow patties, as you do when you're growing up in the sticks, right? It's hilarious. Cow patties just sit big old fresh piles of shit. You throw rocks in them and they'd explode everywhere, right? Well, if you're right next to it, it's going to explode and hit you too. Well, in this one instance, Travis takes a big old rock, throws it at the cow patty, and with his mouth open, a piece of shit flies into his mouth and he swallows it. Oh, I love that he shared that story because it's so funny. Yeah. He's still got a shit-eating grin to this day. Love you, Travis. Love you, Tristan. Yeah, so I hope you get along with your siblings and can relate because it was just the best thing ever. We were having the most fun we would ever have in life, and it was so cool. There was this one, like, place where all the water would drain into, and it was, like, a very deep, I mean, I'm not kidding you, like, chest deep. And there were, like, rocks and stuff. You'd have to climb up and out of it, and we'd all scrape our knees and just... Dude, it was so many adventures and exploration and such cool stuff. It was such a cool place to grow up. And I mean, yeah, we were always outside exploring one thing or the other. I mean, the limits of stuff you could find out there was just never ending. So, cool fucking childhood and cool fucking memories. Alright, cool shit as an adult. I was actually talking to another dude online about this, and it sparked in, like, the collections of stuff that you get over time. And I went up into my rafters, and this time I did actually have a thing that I can show you. And look what I found, dude. Look how cool this is. So many Game Informers. I collected these. I mean, you used to go to GameStop, and they had the rewards member thing, and so every time you bought a game, it'd pretty much like re-up your issues of these, so you get another year of them. And dude, I loved getting these every time they came in the mail. I mean, look at the art was so sick. You could find, this is how you found out like if games were good. This is how you checked out game reviews back in the day. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, the age range of people I'm trying to attract will know about these. And I hope you have stuff like this still. It's just so cool to go back. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this wasn't that long ago. 2011. What the fuck? Make me feel so old. July 2011. Anyway. But yeah. It's shit like this that you're collecting at the time and you'll be like, there's no use to it, right? And there isn't, except for reliving the memories. I mean, I'll see something like this before, and I don't know if this is the first one, but before I even picked up a Batman game, and I ended up loving those so much. I mean, look, Dragon Age, fucking Infamous 2, Skyrim, before Skyrim came out. Dude. And how cool was this to grab these and relive these memories? And I can look back at these. I can show my kids these. Hey, this is how we used to get information. We didn't just open up our phone and see every fucking thing on IGN, right? And dude, I've been a video gamer since I was a kid. I think I mentioned this before. And I love platformers. And one of the games that really sticks into my brain is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Country. And then Donkey Kong 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. Third and after that, fine. But those two really were probably the best platformers you could ever play. Super Nintendo, dude, they were really doing it right with like secret rooms you could get into, different animals you could ride around. I mean, they were so advanced for that time. Like, video games were so goddamn cool. And to play those the first times and then just figure out all the little tricks and stuff without knowing anything, without looking anything up. It was such a cool feeling. And I can pick those games up today and play them just as well as I did when I was a kid. I can think of the levels. God, I remember riding the spider and you have to make the webs and oh my, it got so insanely hard, but it was so fair and so fun that I just think of them so fondly. And I'm really actually looking for a retro console so I can play those games with my son because he really likes that kind of stuff too. I think it's really good for your reflexes. I think it's really good for, I don't know, your brain development, I guess, because you have to make decisions on the fly, and your hand-eye coordination is getting better, and it's just cool. But anyway, so yeah, appreciate your collections of stuff and keep them, man. There's so many things that we take for granted and start throwing away. Like, oh, everybody has this, so what the hell do I need it for? But, I mean, look at this. They don't even make these Game Informers anymore. This place closed down because everything's internet now. But I have such a vast collection of these that even if I don't want to go and read every bit of them, at least I can look at the dope art and appreciate what I had and appreciate 2011 when I got all of these. I don't know. It was cool. I wanted to bring up disc golf. I kind of show it here and there. But, dude, I'm getting back into disc golf with my little brother and our buddy Fantone. And it's been so fucking awesome. I told you about winning that tournament and then not playing tournaments anymore. And life gets busy and, a lot to balance. But we're kind of getting back into it right now because of Fantone. Shout out to you, Fantone, and thank you. It's so cool. You get to go out and explore these courses. And where I live, we've got, a handful of them, which is awesome. Very popular. It's getting very popular, so there's tons of places to play. And at the very least, if you suck at it, which, what does that matter? You're out there hanging out with your buddies, going on a little bit of a hike, and just staying off of your fucking phone and just getting in tune with your buddies and playing a poor man's version of golf. Fucking golf is so goddamn hard. But this, if you take a little bit of time to learn technique, they want you to do the X-stick, pull back, and fling it. If you take a little bit of time to learn and just keep practicing a bit, you can get to where you can get par everywhere you go. And it becomes so addictive. Oh, God, just wait until you throw that first ace, dude. Hole in one. I've got pretty damn good accuracy. I tell people that a lot, but I've gotten over 10 hole-in-ones in my life. And I'm not talking 100 feet away, and you could kind of just put it into it. Now, I'm talking like 300 feet, 250 plus, a lot of them. And that's such a cool feeling to watch to know that you threw it just so perfectly that it's going to get into that basket. So sick. But I want to show you a couple different ones. If you're interested, let me show you a couple different grips too. So, just like your golf, you've got discs for every different thing. They got different lips, different edges, different, this one's called the distance. You got mid-ranges, you got fairway drivers that have a little bit of a lip. So, it's all about controlling the speed of these things, right? So, of course, your distance drivers, you want to go as far as possible. And the grip I always use is called a power grip. So, you hold it really, really tight, all 4 fingers under the rim, and let that motherfucker fly as hard as you can without trying to grip lock, which means accidentally throwing behind you. Gay man, talking about you. He tried to throw it super hard and spun a full 360 and fell on the ground. Hilarious. We were drinking beer, though, so I'll give you that one. Okay, and then you got like your mid-ranges, and then you got a different grip for those. I do what's called a fan grip, where your fingers are kind of splayed out like that. And, you want to have more control. And it's not going as far, so you need to have good touch. And then, of course, your putters, where you're doing, I kind of do like a modified fan grip on that. Then you just try to keep it under control and throw it into the basket, which putting is insanely hard. And I know that's true for golf, too. But, it doesn't get easier in disc golf. I mean, you just the finesse and the pressure and all of the factors come barging down on you. But anyway, so disc golf, I started playing when Innova was really the big company, so that's what I have still. Oh, and look, I've got ace on this. I got a couple of them, actually. Ace hole number 2, 2011. That seems to be a pretty important date where I was doing cool shit. So, collecting Game Informers and collecting discs. Oops. But, so keep your collections. The older you get, the cooler it is to look back on. And if you've got any collections you'd like to share with me, I'd love to see them. I don't get a lot of engagement on this yet, but I'm always on the hunt for cool shit, so please share with me. All right. Rambled on for 20 minutes, and here we are to the end of it already. You know how this ends, and this is why I put my disclaimer in the beginning again, because this is where it gets crude. Sorry. 'Tis my superpower. So, what song are we outroing with today? Well, just like the very first episode, let's go back to old Blake Shelton. Why is he in so many of these songs so far? I don't know. I like how he sounds even when he's singing country. I like just the way some of those songs are put together, and it's so easy to change these lyrics because these guys rhyme the simplest word schemes ever, right? So, this one. Everybody knows this one. I'll do my best to sing through it fast so I don't have to slay in your eardrums. But this one, she put the her in hurt. She put the Y in try. She put the SOB in sober. She put the hang in hangover. She put the X in... You get it. You know the song. Everybody does. And if you don't, get out from under your little rock and go Google it. My version. I wrote way too much, so bear with me. Okay, she put the squir in squirt. She put the I in cream pie. She put the OUC in cocksucker. And I'm sad I done fucked her. She put the UGG in butt plug. She put the ouch in prison pouch. She put her big old thumb in my pooper. Boy, it felt super. There, that's all I'll torture you with. I mean, even outside the chorus, dude, I've gone through that whole song so many times, changing so much of it. It is just absolutely gnarly. Have a great week. I'll fucking be here next week. Stay positive. Do your best. We're all trying our best. All right. Till next time.